Predator forged. This is a 20-inch by 10-inch.
20 by 9.
20 by 9.
Yeah, it's going to be our first prototypes that we're doing. We're going to do a couple different designs on here. Hey folks, welcome back to their vlog. Ryan Wilson here, Predator Inc. You saw in the last vlog, we got our CNC mill in. We got some really cool stuff happening right now. Check this out. So we've got our blanks that just came in. These are forged blanks, meaning that it is compressed aluminum. If you've ever looked at like aluminum rims, you'll see like cast rims, for example, right here. Here's some method rims right over here. These are just cast rims. You can pick them up. They're a couple $100. Fairly low quality when it comes to the casting. Typically, if a rim breaks, it's going to be from porosity inside the casting, where this doesn't have it. The forgings right here are extremely dense. Extremely heavy duty material here. Because what they do is, in essence, take aluminum and super compress it. This is the premium wheel to use on an H1 Hummer or on any vehicle. Most vehicles, they don't need a forged rim, but here it is. So check this out. Come on over here. We're working on rims today. We've got Daniel in from Haas. He's getting the mill set up. What's up, Daniel?
How we doing?
Good. CNC mill is almost done. He's been working on it 2 days straight now. Just about done. Got some cool features going on with this, with the auto probing. What's it called? P-Cool?
P-Cool. Yep.
Auto cooling. Yeah, all kinds of rad stuff happening. Josh is in here today working on the rim right now, a couple rim designs, so check this out.
All right. So, am I starting the video off here now?
Dude, well, okay, get you up to speed. Jason screwed up again.
Yep.
And only charged one of the mics, not both. So we had to shut it down, and it's charging, but now we gotta awkwardly hold this mic and like talk into it. So this is what Jason's done, and he said this is perfectly normal and perfectly fine.
I said one of you could wear the mic.
Yeah, I don't know. So, again, we have... Okay, so we're gonna continue this vlog with the awkward microphone.
So this is our first design here.
It's like the hands. What do I do with my hands?
So this is our design here. This is a 20-inch rim for the H1. And we keep the CTIS, so it's a complete plug-and-play system. And Predator forged. This is a 20-inch by 10-inch.
20 by 9.
20 by 9.
Yeah, it's going to be our first prototypes that we're doing. We're going to do a couple different designs on here. But ultimately, we can do virtually any color you want. We can produce it in a very lean manufacturing process because we literally pull it off, hit the button, process the rim. We can powder coat it, anodize it, do different colors. We're also doing different center caps in here. Do you have some center cap designs up?
Yes, I do. This is the first rough draft I have. This uses the 8-bolt pattern I have on the front face of the rim, but you can also use the CTIS covers that we currently sell on the website, which would also look great with this rim.
Got the Predator logo down here, as well as CTIS. The CTIS line actually sits right in between here on the center of the hub, so pull that guy up. There you go, yeah, so same one. So you've got options here. So go back to the rim, pull up the new center cap design, and it's again, just starting out, but more of an open face, like full face center cap that goes a little bit bigger, more protection for the CTIS line as well. So we're gonna have a number of different options, and you can interchange them and kind of create your own design. And we'll have a layover program on our website where you can actually choose the rim you want, choose the color you want, and then choose the center cap and choose the center cap color if you want to. So a lot of different options going on there. Again, you can have less protection with this guy. I kind of like the exposed CTIS line. Then we'll have another layer that goes a little bit bigger, a little bit more protection for the CTIS line. And then we could do a full size one that has full protection in case you're doing some heavy off-roading, you're afraid of a rock or maybe a tree branch hitting your CTIS line and ripping it out. I've never seen that happen. It's never happened to me, but it's possible. So you can go that route if you want to. Yeah, Josh is designing some up right now. And again, it's not a whole lot to look at right now, but when he's done, it's gonna look pretty trick.
Yeah, and we're gonna have probably something really cool engraved here. And we can probably sell these with and without CTIS holes in the side too. So for those of you without CTIS, you can have a perfectly flush look that's super clean with that rim.
I'll show them one of the other center caps too. So we
this is the older version.
Yeah, we ended up not going this route, but again, it's just a different design that we are kind of playing with.
Yep.
So there's virtually it's endless as far as options that we can do in-house and have processed and shipped out to you. So it's really cool. This machine, this mill right here, is going to open the doors on a lot of custom stuff. So super excited about it.
Yep. And this mill will actually over double the throughput of this machine shop since we will have a 4th axis on it. Instead of having maybe a 3 operation part or a 4 operation part, we can knock it down to 2. So we might be able to cut the setup down in half and run more parts at once.
Well, yeah. So check this out over here. This is actually a 4 operation part. So we have 4 ops on this. The first part starts out as a piece of billet aluminum. And that piece of billet aluminum goes right over here in this jaw. And then it turns into this. So that's op 1. Goes into op 2 right here. Goes over to op 3 and does a little cut right here. And then we flip this guy, goes back in here, and it goes to op 4. So ultimately all of the pieces have this little notch in here. That's a little relief cut. This is wrapped in leather. So when it's wrapped around, it has a nice finish, and it lays down inside here so the leather is completely flush across here. And so that's how that works in our current setup. This is 4 operations. Oftentimes we have 3 operations. It just depends on the part. So what he's talking about with the 4th axis is this big motor that fits on the side of the mill over here, on the side of the table, and has this big chunk of aluminum that comes out with all of these vices bolted onto it. So we throw a piece of billet aluminum in there, tighten it down, and then it goes through the process and actually turn it. So, for example, let's say it's holding it like this. It can turn that part here. We do the cut here, turn it over to this side, and we do that cut. So we can, in some cases, have like reduce it down to 1 or 2 ops. Yep. So literally double productivity with the 4th operation or 4th axis.
Not to mention, on the tombstone, we can have parts going on both sides. We can have parts on the top and bottom. So you can run the row on the top, flip it over, and do an additional maybe 3-4 parts on the bottom. So you can even fit more setups into that one machine. Mm-hmm. So it's a big upgrade for this shop.
With the 4th axis, we're going to be able to flip this thing around, do all our machine work, processing in like 1 or 2 shots. So yeah, huge difference right there.
So it would actually become a 2-op part, and if we did it on this machine, it would be a 5-op part. And you're right, the variance from going from setup to setup would make it very difficult to machine, very difficult to keep it consistent. And this machine will allow us to keep it completely consistent, and ultimately we can have a better product than what we could do with the fabricators back there. So.
Yeah. And ultimately, it reduces the labor on the fab guys, so we can make their life a lot easier. They can stay focused on real high-end TIG welding as well as MIG welding versus having to go in there and sand down material, cut parts, where we can do kind of offset a lot of their work on here, which will help them out. But also on top of that, this is going to reduce our costs on doing that out of billet aluminum. By reducing that, we can have an all aluminum roof rack for something that's comparable to the steel. Now, it wouldn't really replace the steel in my opinion. Steel is going to be a little bit more rigid, much heavier duty, a lot heavier though than aluminum, so there's a trade-off there. So if you think you're going to be putting like, I don't know, a 240Z on top of the roof, I would go the steel route. And in fact, we had that customer who put, what was it, Jason? It was like a Toyota, like a Japanese Toyota up there.
Yeah.
You got the picture?
Yeah, I'll throw it
Throw
up.
the picture up so you can see what this customer did. I think he did it for like this Haggerty automotive shoot. Pretty cool. Put it on the steel roof rack, but I would not put that on the aluminum. The aluminum is a great rack, and it's more of like a lighter duty use. Probably something that most all of our customers are utilizing their roof racks for right now. For me, personally, I'd probably go aluminum because I'm not going to put anything that's 1,000 pounds up there.
And the aluminum rack would allow you to get a lower CG, so you have the added weight of your rooftop tent, maybe a spare tire, maybe something else up there, but you can reduce the weight by around 30-40% by having the entire rack out of aluminum.
Yeah, and that's something else too, to be said for like a soft top. So get like a soft top, you do the Duramax conversion, that thing is quick. I mean, it's swapping ends on you. You got to be careful driving that thing. It's super fast. But you take on the flip side, on the other end of the spectrum, You've got an H1 with a Duramax conversion, putting out the same horsepower, 450 to 900 foot-pounds of torque, and you have that in a wagon setup, and you put the roof rack on there, the bumpers, winch bumpers front and rear, brush guard on there, all the accessories, and you get on it, it's not swapping ends like that soft top. So reducing that weight up there is a really good thing. So, and you're gonna reduce it by a few hundred pounds easy, which is gonna make a difference. You'll feel the difference right there for sure, even with that amount of power, like 900 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah, I'm so excited. This is like Christmas for me. So Daniel, I think we'll be running today?
Should be.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Is there anything else we want to cover here? We can talk about the PMD driver plate that I'm working on.
Oh yeah, we got some other stuff going on. We've got a new, so again, continuing our improvement on virtually everything we do. It's non-stop here. There's always something we can do to make our product line better, and this is what we've done. So check this out. You know what, let me go grab the original PMD plate. I'll be right back. On the 6.5 turbo diesel, class is in session, Josh. So you got a pump mounted driver. This mounts on the injection pump of the 6.5 turbo diesel. This is one of the failure points on the 6.5 turbo diesel. So if you get some weird stuff happening where you're driving along, RPM spike, it does some weird stuff, truck starts to take off on you, or it dies, or it sputters and goes up and down. It's definitely fuel related, but most of the time it's a PMD. So even to the point where a friend of mine at the factory said he doesn't go anywhere without having an extra PMD on him. So that says a lot when AM General is carrying extra PMDs when they go off-roading. So this guy mounts on the injection pump. It uses the injection pump and the fuel going through the injection pump as a heat sink to cool this guy down. The problem with that design is our engines, the 6.5 turbo diesels in the H1 Hummer, doesn't have a lot of airflow across the top of the valley of the engine. And that's where the fuel pump is mounted, or the injection pump. So when that happens, you have a stagnant air in the valley of the engine, and it's not cooling this down, it starts to overheat. When it overheats, this guy does some weird stuff, it starts shutting down the truck, you'll see spikes going on, really weird stuff, and in fact, I was at a light once and I was pushing down the brake, just sitting there, all of a sudden the truck just jumped forward. So it started dumping fuel in. I wasn't expecting that power to kick in. It was like someone was hitting the accelerator, and in reality it was a bad PMD. So one of the solutions is get it out of the valley of the engine. And we don't actually get it out of the valley of the engine, we just leave it on because it's just too many labor hours to remove it. There's no sense to it. You unplug it, we have a new harness extension that runs out to the side of the vehicle, out by the wheel well, and it mounts onto the back of this plate here, and this acts as a heat sink. And then the wheel spins in this direction right here, kicking up a lot of air over this heat sink, does a great job. However, we can make it a lot better, and that's what Josh has done here. So we're going with, what's the thickness on this?
This is an inch and a quarter.
Okay, and this is 1/4 inch for reference.
Yep.
So a lot thinner.
This part here, first and foremost, is going to cut down on man hours. So instead of having the guys clean this up by hand after the plasma, we can take this right out of the machine and send it straight to anodize. So it's good in that regard. Not to mention the overall product. The overall product is of a much higher quality. So again, it's a thicker part, so you get much better heat dissipation. The fins are going in the direction of the airflow in your fender well, and it has fins on both sides. No matter where you're looking at, it looks pretty cool.
I haven't done the numbers yet, but I don't think it's going to change the price much because what we're doing is saving on labor hours, making it easier for the guys back there as well as assembly. So we're cutting that cost down, and we do have a huge price difference in the aluminum material. Aluminum material going from this 1/4 inch to this is, oh shoot, it's probably like
5 times the
5
price.
times, exactly.
But,
so big difference there, but it's offset with the mill version. So lots of stuff going on with the mill, our machining department now, and a lot of cool stuff coming off the line here very shortly. Probably see that. When are we gonna start cutting that?
Next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah.
And then also I want to touch on one more thing. Let me awkwardly take the mic from you. Check this out over here. I want to touch on this truck. We're going to have a vlog coming out next week on this guy. This was our truck. This is going to be my shop truck. 6-passenger seating, over the top build. Good friend, customer of ours called up and said, hey, I've made a mistake. I sold my truck and I really need a truck back. And I was like, you know what? I know what you're looking for, and it's not an entry-level truck. It's something that's over the top. fitting for your collection. He has a number of cars, but we'll get into that later. But this is his truck. He ended up buying it from us, so kind of sad news. I'm happy it's going to him because he absolutely loves cars, and I would say, yeah, as much as I do, if not even more. So that makes me feel better. At least that's what I tell myself. But we'll have a vlog coming out next week on that. We actually started filming on this guy, and just got a lot of content to edit up. We'll get that out there next week. Till then, thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you guys soon. Oh, hit the subscribe button down below and like if you like it. And if you don't like it, do the don't like button. Whatever. We know you guys are out there. We see you guys. There's 2 of you.